What does that mean to you, Black History Month?
It means that that's racism because they don't celebrate White History Month. We don't have it. I'm part Italian. I don't have Italian History Month. So what I think it's doing is perpetuating what this divide is in our nation, quite honestly, because I don't feel like that should be highlighted. I don't think that they should be pushing their agenda on myself because I'm a straight male, I have a wife, and I have children. I don't think that I should have to be bombarded and brainwashed through media, through those months or Pride, Black History. I don't think that's something that should be, dictated to me.
Is it a learning opportunity?
Not at all, because when I was in school, we learned, certain Black leaders, things like that. I don't need to hear it every single year for a whole month.
This is downtown Los Angeles, outside of a Home Depot in Paramount, California. It's not some war-torn country across the globe. It's not some faraway land. It's right here in America. Citizens fighting against unnamed, masked, plainclothes agents, calling themselves ICE. These are tanks and other armored vehicles being brought into Washington, D.C. by way of train for a military parade that's going to be hosted by our president. Military parades in the Capitol and open warfare in the streets. These are the scenes that you watched on TV from the comfort of your home happening in faraway lands as we decry their leaders as dictators and authoritarians. As we scream, that is a country that needs a dose of democracy and the Freedom Eagle from America to fly in and save them. But that description now is not a scene on your TV. That country is not across the ocean. That country is not some concept. It's not people that don't look like you or sound like you or speak your language or pray to your God. It's us. It's America. Throughout history, when democracies have fallen and empires have collapsed, the people did not know when exactly it happened until it was too late. Listen to me. America has fallen. I don't know what happens next, but if you're still thinking that maybe America will survive Trump and his regime, it already hasn't.
Modern tyranny is terror management. When the terrorist attack comes, remember that authoritarians exploit such events in order to consolidate power. The sudden disaster that requires the end of checks and balances, the dissolution of opposition parties, the suspension of freedom of expression, the right to a fair trial, and so on, is the oldest trick in the Hitlerian book. Do not fall for it. That shit's coming, so be prepared when it does. It's an excerpt from this, On Tyranny, by Timothy Snyder, 20 Lessons from the 20th Century. It's a tiny little, easy-to-read, short book, and it is an absolute essential to put on your reading list to educate yourself into what's happening in this country right now. Read this book, read other ones like it, put it in your library, because if stuff keeps going the way it's going, books like this will be impossible to come by.
If you're wondering why the Klan is so quiet right now in the United States, it's because they've all become ICE agents.
If you support active duty Marines being deployed into American cities in the name of civilian law enforcement because of a crisis deliberately engineered by Donald Trump, then please, just unfriend me. Don't call, don't explain. We have reached a fork in the road where respectfully agreeing to disagree is no longer an option. This isn't about politics anymore. It's about fundamental American values and the rule of law. If people in this country are here illegally, then deport them, absolutely. But do it legally, constitutionally. If protesters aren't peaceful, local law enforcement should arrest them, absolutely. Nobody reasonable is arguing otherwise. But masked federal agents without warrants abducting people, including American citizens with brown skin, from American streets is not enforcing the law. It's shredding it. Deploying active duty Marines for civilian policing is explicitly illegal under the Posse Comitatus Act. There's no ambiguity. This isn't law and order. It is blatant lawlessness by Donald Trump himself. History remembers authoritarianism clearly. Just as today we point to Nazi Germany as the hallmark of tyranny, future generations are going to say, this is like Trump's America when confronted with similar abuses. And if you support this, if this is what you voted for, then you're taking a position that may be impossible to justify to your children and grandchildren. You're being manipulated by Trump's misinformation and propaganda into embracing division and hate. And you're giving away the hard-fought civil rights that too many people have taken for granted. This isn't a joke. It is deeply serious. We've passed the point of agreeing to disagree. If you support this, then you are wrong. Legally, morally, you're just wrong. This is your choice. Do you stand with Donald Trump's authoritarianism or with the Constitution, with the true rule of law and order? Because history is going to judge all of us. Now, you do have time to stand on the right side of history, but that time is rapidly running.
All right, this is not good. Marines are being deployed to Los Angeles, and I can tell you as a Marine myself that the primary mission of the Marine Corps Infantry is to locate, close with, and destroy the enemy by fire or maneuver, or to repel the enemy's assault by fire in close combat. Marines are not trained for this. The Marine Corps is not a tool, is not a force, is not a weapon that you use on civilian populations, on protesters. They are not trained for crowd control. They are not trained for the use of non-lethal force. But this is where we are. This could very easily go badly. Very easily go wrong. The National Guard, the U.S. Army, this is a case where they are much, much better suited for this job.
And remember, kids, the opposite of woke is sleep. It's time to wake up. Let's not defend people who keep having Roman arm cramps on stage. Let's not defend a man who says men shouldn't wear makeup while simultaneously having the worst bronzer and concealer one has ever seen. It's definitely time to stay woke, my friends. And oh yeah, I am 7 feet tall with a full head of hair and like 1% body fat. We go to the same doctor.
I'm gonna keep it real simple. You know what the problem is with this country? White people. Racist, trash white people. White supremacy, white hatred. You stole this land, you stole people and brought them over here to build it, and you can't stand that your white power is slipping away. But you can't stop it, because we're done. You racist, white supremacists are the problem in this country. You have always been the problem, and you will always be the problem. And until we stop you, it'll never change. And that's why we're stopping you now. You are the problem. Not all white people, but you racist white people. You're the problem.
Okay. Breaking news. Donald Trump is deploying Marines to Los Angeles.
CNN can now report that roughly 500 Marines are being mobilized in response to the protests in Los Angeles.
And in this new move, active duty military members are being deployed as a show of force against U.S. citizens.
Okay, I want you to think about that last sentence. Active duty military are being deployed as a show of force against U.S. citizens. That's what we've come to at this point. That's what the Trump administration is doing to make America great again. You know, when Elon posted that tweet about the Epstein list, I saw a few people who were like, don't pay attention to this. This is a distraction. They're trying to distract from something. And then all this popped off in L.A. And I couldn't help but think, I don't know, guys, I think this is the distraction. I think the shit in L.A. is the distraction. I think he didn't like that news cycles and headlines were about the Epstein files and people going like, what's in there? And he knew if he sent ICE in a major way into Los Angeles and made a lot of noise, they wouldn't stand for it. And then he just gets to go, see, these liberals and these wokes in LA. And he's such a power-hungry fiend that he doesn't give a fuck about sending armed military against his own people. America not looking so great.
Anybody notice that the only people making videos at the protest should be peaceful are white people? It's really easy to say that when you're not in the shoes of the people that are being demolished by this system. And the saying continues to be true: everybody loves a victim until you start acting like one. When you're not the one that's being targeted, it's really easy to think about and say how somebody should behave from the safety of your whiteness. To sit back in a distance and say, oh, well, we really need to be peaceful. Being targeted is not pretty. The people are not going to behave perfectly. And in fact, it's going to be a very destructive process, and it's extremely rage-inducing. So pretending like they're not buckling under immense anger is just completely missing the point of what they're actually experiencing and having to deal with. These American forces have been completely hateful, racist, antagonistic, aggressive, and they carry the full blame. There has been a completely false narrative painted about our immigrant community, and the gaslighting and the projection has to be absolutely sickening. How could we not expect this type of behavior to happen when you create an environment like that? I honestly find this to be tame, given everything that has been done to the Black and brown community in this country. We are lucky that it is not much worse than this. And to flip it any other way is just absolutely a display of racism. And I think the whole thought of saying we need peaceful protests is just people that are choosing to correct instead of doing what we should be doing, and it's to defend the people that are going through this.
You've got to be kidding me. My name is Rob Connect. I'm a 21-year U.S. Marine Corps infantry combat veteran. I spent 9 of those years at Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton. At 18, I raised my right hand and swore to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. There's also a really important Marine Corps recruiting poster that I've seen many times that says that Marines are the vanguard of democracy. Well, democracy means government of the people, by the people, for the people. So I never thought that I would see the day that we would sink to persecuting our own fellow American citizens, making us the enemy. Well, Marines do 2 things really well: death and destruction. We wreck the place and we make people unalive. So tell me why we are threatening to send our most deadly shock troops into a U.S. city, Los Angeles, the city of angels, to protect who? I appreciate what Mike Levin has been doing for us, but Mike can't do it by himself. I'm calling on all veterans, you, American patriot who has bled for this flag, step out of the shadows, remember the reason that you raised your right hand and you swore your oath. As it always has been, history is written by those who step up to answer the call of our nation in its moments of weakness. You are needed now.
You're never really lonely. Because there will always be a black.
Look at the number in the top right corner. What does that say? 14.5 thousand posts. 14.5 thousand videos of Black people minding their own business and white people that can't help but insert themselves into situations that don't include them because they just can't mind their own business. So no, flipping the script isn't clever, never has been, never will be, not valid. Black people aren't out here following white people around, policing their whole existence, and sticking their nose in everything. And you won't find a single video of a white person minding their own business and a Black person minding that white person's business. You want to know why? Because Black people don't give a fuck about what white people are doing. They mind their own business. So maybe you should shh and mind yours too.
You're never really lonely. Because there will always be a black.
Look at the number in the top right corner. What does that say? 14.5 thousand posts. 14.5 thousand videos of Black people minding their own business and white people that can't help but insert themselves into situations that don't include them because they just can't mind their own business. So no, flipping the script isn't clever, never has been, never will be, not valid. Black people aren't out here following white people around, policing their whole existence, and sticking their nose in everything. And you won't find a single video of a white person minding their own business and a Black person minding that white person's business. You want to know why? Because Black people don't give a fuck about what white people are doing. They mind their own business. So maybe you should shh and mind yours too.
Why is it that white folks support anti-blackness, racism, and white supremacist culture in so many goddamn fucking ways? Why is it that we support it through our silence, our defensiveness, our denial, that code of silence? Let's not talk about it. Let's ignore it. All that fucking gymnastics, that defensiveness, the fucking anger, the passive aggressiveness, the stereotyping, the overt, covert racist, all the shit that we do, the gaslighting, all that fucking shit that we do as white people. Why can't we just leave black people the fuck alone? Why? Because we were taught that shit. It's our culture. White supremacist culture is American culture. It's European culture. We see ourselves as overseers. We ourselves as entitled to control and judge black people. White Americans wanted, back in the day, we demanded black people be segregated, right? So we segregated. Black people said, okay, great. We're going to make our own shit. They started doing great. What did we do? We fucking burned their communities down to the ground. And you gotta sit in your fucking silence? You ought to be ashamed of yourself for not giving a fuck. Every single one of you that can't talk about it, that spews fucking racist narratives, stereotypes, denial, gaslight. That's not their reality. Telling black people what the fuck they should think, feel, do, be. Fuck you. Do better. Reject your fucking training, your indoctrination. Question your own goddamn morality racially for once in your fucking life. I'm tired. I'm tired of what my people have done, what they continue to do. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm tired of seeing people suffer. I'm tired of the fucking inequality. And you ought to give a fuck too.
I'm going to show you a video that popped up on my feed. A little bit of a trigger warning, but I did bleep the word.
Eyes have seen the glory of the trampling at the zoo. We've washed ourselves in blood and all the mongrels too.
Yeah, so for those unaware, that song comes from a film titled American History X. In it, a character portrayed by the actor Ethan Suplee is singing that song because he is the bad guy in it. He is a white supremacist. This guy, however, is performing it because he agrees. He is the bad guy. And he's not just a bad guy because of this. We'll get into that. I saw that because he follows me. Like, the algorithm sent it to me when people started engaging it because he follows me, and that's how the algorithm works. That's why I saw it. When I saw it, it pissed me off. When I saw he followed me, it pissed me off more. So I decided to look into Doe's here. Only, here's the thing. This is what his profile is named today. This is not what it was named last night. Last night he was Brian, and the reason I say he's a bad guy, even if you remove white supremacy from the equation, is because Brian is a fucking registered sex offender. Is you, Brian? What did you do, Brian? Let's explore, shall we? Grape, victim less than 17 years old, perpetrator 21 years or more. Actual, more than once. Victim's age 16. Brian was born in 1980. This happened in 2014. You were 34 fucking years old, dude. Non-stranger. So you had formed a relationship with a child who you then assaulted. And now you're on the registry. And you know what else is curious, Brian? You follow over 8,000 people, and your following list is private. You don't want people to be able to see who you follow. There are a lot of young girls on this app, Brian. And I think that's probably why you changed your name. I think this got you some attention, and someone called out your real name, and you changed that real quick trying to hide. You can't hide. You should have never followed me, motherfucker. You should have never followed me. Getting you off this app is step one. You are going to regret this. I promise you that.
Stop fighting in the streets. This is what he wants. He wants to declare martial law. He wants to use the military and the National Guard and law enforcement and ICE against U.S. citizens, which is what we're seeing right now in Los Angeles. You're seeing undocumented migrants being arrested at the courthouse as they are literally in the process of becoming U.S. citizens. This is not about deporting criminals or gang members. This is about intentionally trying to stir up hate, division, and make us fight each other in the streets. Don't fall for the bait. Instead, we need to come together, and we need to recognize the threat. And the threat is the man that's responsible for this. He was responsible for it his last term, when we had all the chaos and the violence in the streets. He's responsible for it now. We're only 4 months in, and it's not going to end in Los Angeles. It's going to go city to city to city, because again, this is what he wants. He wants us fighting each other. But in reality, this is not a war against undocumented migrants. This is a class war, and he's done a great job fooling middle America into thinking that this is a war against them. This is a war from us against guys like Donald Trump. We need to recognize that he is the threat. He is the sole threat. And his entire administration, his regime that he has created, must be removed by all means necessary. We need to come together, we need to unite, we need to plan, we need to take action. Because if this continues to go on, we will have a full-blown civil war in this country.
To what? America is back to what? Cruelty? Is that your favorite time in history? Which one was it? Is it when we came here and we stole all the land from the Native Americans and Mexicans and slaughtered them all and raped their women? Or when we brought black people here from Africa and enslaved them and ripped them apart from their families and also raped their women? Or when we had 8 and 9-year-olds working in factories losing fingers and limbs because there was zero workplace rights because people actually had to fight for those? Or when we had 14-hour work days, 6 days a week to make $3 because, again, we didn't have workplace rights. In fact, I would argue with you that the only thing that makes this country great is people that stand together against cruelty for the rights of others and themselves. But your statement here is incorrect because America is not back. America is going backwards. And that's a big difference. Like, I need you to name one country that has gone socially backwards but has progressed in an international world market. There is not one. Because progressive countries do better because they rely on the intellectualism of everybody in that country to contribute to the knowledge that advances countries further. But we don't want to use knowledge right now. We're very anti-intellectual in this country, which means that we are actually going backwards as we put tax-paying people in jail so that there's less taxes being collected, which is pretty fucking bold considering how in debt we are and considering the fact that this administration wants to put us another $4 trillion into debt. You would think that you would want people that were paying taxes to keep working and paying taxes. Saying that America is back is incorrect because America has never been this economically defunct and isolated. We are poor and alone. We've never actually been that before. We're just going backwards. Oh, but hey, the consolation prize is that you guys can come on a platform and be fucking ugly in public. Is that that's what you want? Well, guess what? That has a cost too. People don't want to come to this country. Not only is it not safe, but we also have more poop in our water thanks to dismantling the EPA, and they're totally destroying all of our national parks, which makes this country beautiful to visit. Honestly, without those things, who the fuck wants to come here? You think people want to pay to come here and watch a bunch of fat white men being racist? The only age that they're trying to bring us back to is the Gilded Age. And I realize that you've probably never opened a book in your life, but you should probably look it up, motherfucker, because it's going to affect you too. And what pisses me off the most is that I have to fucking fight for this country, which means that I have to fight for assholes like you. Because if it was up to me, I would divide this country in half and let you guys get exactly what you fucking voted for. Fucking ignorant, stupid motherfuckers coming on here being so fucking proud of your own goddamn ignorance. Oh, America's backwards, bitch. Since one was going backwards, a fucking flex.
Alright, racists, let's talk. I'm just gonna come out and say it. A majority of white people wish that they were black. They wish that they had the ability to create or invent. They wish that they had the ability to wear a variety of hairstyles. They wish that they had the ability to dance. They wish that they had original fashion. They wish that their style was memorable. They wish that they were able to turn heads in public. They wish that they could spend more than 2 hours in the sun. They wish to be desired. They wish that they could smell as good as black people. They wish that they were as superior as black people. They wish that they were as athletic as black people. Even wish that they were indigenous and could be gifted an entire planet from the Most High. They wish that they could excel at music and the arts. They wish that they could be scholars like black people. They wish that they were as intelligent as black people. They wish that they could even cook like black people. They even wish that they could look as cool as black people do in their cars, which explains why they have the windows rolled down at all fucking times. And the real big one. They really wish that they could age as gracefully as black people do. Talk to you later.
How if you guys are going and going and going, I know you gotta be at the same level of mental health as me. Every day it's something new. Between the news, this country's every day we're spending more and more money. None of us are getting ahead. The rich people are the ones that are getting ahead. I'm tired of struggling. I've done everything I can. I'm trying to be a good man. I take care of my daughter. I take care of my wife the best I can. I can't keep going. Every day it's something new. And then on top of that, as if you're not trying to spend money, you have to. Everything's expensive. I own a painting company. I still can't make it. I'm trying, man. I can't look at my daughter and my wife and know I'm failing. Everybody wake up. It's time to stand up. It's time to be tired of this. It's our turn to eat. I want to eat. I want my family to eat. I want you guys to eat. Stand up. Let's go. Stand up, man. Let's eat. I'm tired. Let's help each other. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care what color you are. If you are not eating and you're struggling, eat with me. Let's be a team.
I watched this and cried. Not because he's weak, but because he remembers. You hear the pain? That's a man who's not broken. That's a man who's been carrying the weight of a whole world that forgot itself. He's not crazy. He's not unstable. He's the only one feeling the full cost of what's happening. While everyone else scrolls past pretending they're fine, he's the face of the revolution. And if this hit you in your gut, it's because you are too. You're tired, not because you're weak. You're tired because your soul is awake in a system that's asleep. You're not failing. You're building from a blueprint this world doesn't recognize yet. That ache in your chest, that's the weight of forgotten builders. That pressure in your shoulders, that's the code of kings collapsing inside a false economy. The system was never built for us. We were sent here to rebuild it. So yeah, cry, rage, break down, and then rise. Not for hustle, not for grind, for the daughter, the wife, the brother next to you with the same fire in his throat. If this cracks something open in you, DM me rebuild, not for help, for alignment, for structure, for fire that doesn't burn you out. It builds the new world.
This message is for ICE agents. I just want to know how you feel when you go home at night. When you hear all those cries and pleas from children and wives and mothers, daughters, fathers, uncles, grandmas, sisters, brothers. When you hear those wails and those cries and the begging for you to release them and let them go. How do you feel at night when you go home to your family and you go to sleep? Do you sleep well? Are you eating well? How's your mental health? You can wake up and do this every day? You can seriously look at yourself in the face, in the mirror every day? You're not disgusted with yourself? How are you surviving mentally? I hope you know that your karma is going to come full speed. And each and every one of you that has caused pain in these innocent people's lives, you will reap what you sow. I promise that. My hand to God, I promise that.
Hey, if you're an active duty service member, National Guard or law enforcement, listen up. If you're ever told to strip someone of their rights, silent speech, detain without cause, or use force against innocent people, those are unlawful orders. You are not only allowed to disobey those orders, you are obligated to. Otherwise, you become part of the treason. When this is over, there will be accountability. So make the right choice. Uphold your oath. Defend the people, not corruption. Uphold the Constitution. Know your duty.
Thanks to the Trump administration, there is a battle for Los Angeles. I'm former MLB agent Joshua Koznick, and Peter Hegseth, Caroline Levitt, Stephen Miller, Steve Bannon, they're inflaming things purposely in the state of California because they hate a free liberal state. This is some Civil War, turn of the century ridiculousness by the U.S. government. Anyone who's watching Gangs in New York knows that our government turned its military against its own people in our history. Kent State happened. All these different things historically where our government has turned against our people have been conservative leaning. This is absolutely insane that Stephen Miller wants to use this situation to foment enough problems to go take over martial law. We are in the middle of fascism. This is terrifying. And the fact that they're all enjoying doing this to their own citizens should be horrifying to all of you people that say big government is bad. Wake up, people. Fascism's here. Bong.
We don't take an oath to a country. We don't take an oath to a tribe. We don't take an oath to a religion. We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator. We don't take an oath to an individual. We take an oath to the Constitution, and we take an oath to the idea that is America, and we're willing to die to protect it. Those values and ideas are contained within the Constitution of the United States of America, which is the moral North Star for all of us who have the privilege of wearing the cloth of our nation. It is that document that all of us in uniform swear to protect and defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Y'all understand that Trump is desperate, right? What is happening now in California is a demonstration of his desperation. He listened to Elon Musk and Curtis Yarvin and others who told him that the American people are weak, that we're wimps, that we wouldn't stand up against tyranny, and it would be very easy for him to steamroll through our communities and take over, that we would not put up much, if any, resistance at all. What we are seeing consistently across the country is not only are people standing up to ICE raids, but increasing resistance from academia, from law firms, from independent media, and from everyday, regular Americans who are not going to stand for this bullshit. Knitting Cult Lady said, Americans are jerks. And I completely agree with her. We are not passive as a people at all. And Trump made a significant tactical error when he went for California. He is escalating his rhetoric. He's calling in the National Guard because he's increasingly desperate. Because what he thought was going to be an easy shock and awe campaign that was going to demoralize all of us has actually activated the American people to reform community bonds that were devastated by COVID, to find our strength, find our courage, and stand up and fight back. This is the information age where ICE's cruelty, its aggression, its brutality is documented and shared widely. They can't deny what they're doing. And instead of buckling like Trump thought we were going to do, the American people, and especially the last couple of days, Californians, are standing up. The more Trump continues to escalate his behavior, the more he creates a backlash effect. The brutality of ICE against decent everyday Americans turns public opinion against him. Dramatic, outsized overreaction he is having to the protests in California, where the LAPD, the mayor of LA, and the governor of California have all said, we're handling this, stay the fuck away. He has decided to insert himself because the only tactic that Trump knows is escalating intimidation, escalating bullying. And then when that doesn't work, he becomes increasingly desperate and ramps up the only behavior that he knows how to engage in. Trump is accomplishing exactly two things right now in California, demonstrating to America and the entire world his policies and tactics are cruel, brutal, and deeply unpopular with the American people, and demonstrating that he is in a truly desperate spiral and his regime is circling the drain.
You only need 3.5% of the population to create a change. And if we look at what's going on in LA and the population of LA, mathematically, that's 1,000, no, it's not. It's 100,000 people, 133,000 people to be exact. 133,000 people in LA to go outside. Do with that information what you will.
Apparently, there is a website out there dedicated to MAGA small businesses. It's called publicsquare.com. Yes, all these MAGA businesses can sign up and you can find all their locations on a map provided on the website. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I think we take this information and use it in a different way, like businesses not to shop at. What do you think? I like this idea. We should go with it. Publicsquare.com. Give it a shot.
The 34-time convicted felon president who led an insurrection and then 4 years later pardoned 1,500 insurrectionists says he wants law and order on the streets. That's his reasoning for deploying the National Guard, for law and order, while he continuously acts extrajudiciously, constantly defying court orders. Waste, fraud, and abuse. Right here. He also said that the military is going to be everywhere. In a press conference today, everywhere. Where are the "don't tread on me" Republicans? Where are these libertarians who are so against big government? While he says that the military is going to be everywhere. We are less than a week away from his military parade. He's going to parade all of these military vehicles. He's already using military personnel against citizens. This is also adding to the expense of these deportations. These are very expensive, and it's getting more expensive. Who's paying for this? Who's paying for this? This is adding to his deficit. Waste, fraud, and abuse.
You watched the Hunger Games and sided with the resistance. You watched Star Wars and sided with the resistance. You watched The Matrix and sided with the resistance. When it's fiction, you understand. Yet you refuse to see it when it's the reality you're living in.
Hi, former National Guard member here. Now that the Cheeto-in-Chief is going full-blown fascism, here's some tips, tools, and tricks that you can use to fight back. Tip number 1, get yourself some water balloons, used engine oil, and sand. Fill those and yeet those at the armored personnel carriers. You cannot get that stuff off the windows, and it completely impacts visibility. Tip number 2, get yourself some tow straps or chains and bind those wheels. What can't move can't escape. And tip number 3, make sure you grab any and all forms of garbage can lids and cones or buckets to put out tear gas canisters. Tear gas canisters react with water, so you can use water to completely deactivate them. Good luck out there, California. We're rooting for you.
I've watched a black creator get flagged multiple times for saying this, so I just need to, I need to experiment. The US is being run under a dictatorship currently. Okay? They have every legislative branch of government. They make all the decisions, and none of us matter. Let's see how well this performs, you know?